I really enjoyed the film. I watched it earlier today. I wanted to ask, I'll start with you, Bobby. I wanted to ask about the kind of tone of the film because it's one of those movies that it can be quite hard to get right because it's dealing with quite serious themes, but it's quite light in parts, but it's got the kind of the balance between comedy and pathos, and it's quite heartwarming. What encouraged you when you kind of read when you first took on the project that it was gonna be tonally kind of spot on? Was it the script or was it conversations with the director? What gave you that confidence, I suppose?
Oh, that's interesting. So, yeah, when I saw the movie, I was surprised of how heartfelt it felt. When I was watching it, it was like really touching. But because Lige and I are both from 12-step groups. I approach it more because when you go to an A meeting, there's a lot of joy and levity and laughter, but there's also seriousness. And I just kind of like felt I just made it seem like I was going to really an AA meeting or something. I mean, I just kind of had that mentality, but it was a real shock to see how heartfelt it was. I didn't feel that during the movie, but yeah, it was really I got emotional watching it.
Yeah. Even it
Yeah.
is GaTa, I was going to ask because was there a lot of fun to be had on set? I mean, you're surrounded by funny people and something like this. Of course, the likes of Bobby and then Theo, Johnny. Was there much corpsing? Was it even in some of the harder scenes? Did it take a little while to get through them sometimes?
They always would make me break character, just laughing, excessively. Like sometimes it was just hard to take Bobby Lee serious, man. I couldn't believe how funny he was. But it was great, man. I had a great time, man, just acting with these guys and learning a lot and just staying determined, man.
Because Bobby, I mean, you're obviously you're looking at your kind of career so renowned for your kind of comedic performances and the stand up and the kind of podcast. Was it quite nice for you to have something to really stick your teeth into here? There was a couple of quite big dramatic scenes that you were a part of.
Yeah, I mean, Lige let me kind of be myself at times, but I just knew at times where especially with some of the scenes with Johnny and stuff. I just it was I just felt like thank God that I'm in this movie because I'm usually in movies that don't require that, and I always want to learn and I always want to grow. So yeah, it was the whole thing was a surprise to me because I went into it to help Lige, but when I came out of it, I was like, oh, well, that was probably one of the best film experiences I've ever had.
And do you both think that, I mean, because even though obviously it's dressed up in quite an accessible, light movie at times, the themes of addiction and overcoming addiction are so important to explore on screen. I mean, I've got so much respect for people who are sober and can get through those kind of dark chapters in their life. Do you think we could be doing more to kind of celebrate sobriety in mainstream art?
I
You know,
definitely think we could, man. I think a lot of artists, musicians, just people with big platforms and voices could be celebrating sobriety, man. Because we all got alcoholics in our families, drug addicts, people that are addicted to something. Some people out here be addicted to prostitutes. We need to celebrate cleansing ourselves. So yeah, we should.
Yeah.
well, I think I was I've watched a lot of 12-step scenes and movies and stuff, and I think what helps this is that since 90% of the people that are working on the film are in sobriety and that go to meetings, I felt like it was the most authentic feeling movie when it comes to like portraying 12-step meetings. You know what I mean? It was like really like Jay Mohr as that guy, as that sponsor. It felt like he felt like a sponsor I once had. You know what I mean? It was like, and I know that Jay's sober, so it was just like it was really refreshing to see that.
And on a side note, you all got to play a lot of, well, I guess, like softball on this as well. Who would you say was on set? Who was the best at the sport, and who was the person that needed the most amount of coaching?
I think GaTa and Johnny Knoxville were the best. The worst was Dumbfounded. I've never seen a Korean man. He betrayed our people. He was terrible. Go
And
ahead,
I was,
GaTa.
I think everybody was pretty decent, man, but I was the
Not
best.
dumbfounded. You know that. Be real.
Oh yeah, dumbfounded, he sucked. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I loved. I was just speaking to Johnny just now, and it was great to chat to him because I mean, I like anyone of a certain age. Jackass was such a big part of my kind of like, like my growing up. I've got such a fond recollection of like loving that show for my whole teen years. I just wondered for both of you, do you have any kind of favorite Jackass moments or stunts that they pulled that comes to mind when you think about that show?
My favorite Jackass moment probably it's gross as fuck, but when they were inside the porta potties and they flipped it with all the shit, that shit was crazy.
I think it was it Jackass the movie where Steve O snorted wasabi.
Yeah.
One of the earlier films. Yeah, was insane. I like that. Yeah, yeah. When they're stapling their nutsack to their thighs, I don't really like those kind of ones, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm sure they don't either. But anyway, thank you so much for your time today, guys.
Thank
Best
you,
of luck.
Stefan.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys.
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys.
Hey, you guys.